Okay, so I am streaming today. It's been a long month, and I'm finally getting to this. I'm trying a few things out, so bear with me for a second as I'm checking stream health. Okay, it says you guys might be experiencing minor issues, so if you do, let me know. Otherwise, I am recording, and all of these will go back onto the time lapse at the end of the month, which is just next week. So I don't have a lot of time to be doing this tattoo, and I'm going to be gone this weekend. So this month I am doing Carmen Sandiego, and let me get the sound a little. You might not be hearing me very well. So this is Carmen Sandiego from the new, wow, the new. It is very old, but there's a new cartoon, so there is a revived love of Carmen Sandiego. This is the design I made up. It is a mix of a Mucha and Mucha, I don't know how you say it. Anyway, it's a mix of his portrait here and then adding in everything else. The font I did find online after several attempts. I decided, I'd rather it look the way it should versus my version. So I'm gonna go in here and start lining. I put down the lines yesterday. They're a bit wobbly. See here. Yeah, I see kind of blown out areas a little, but I've now drawn this thing so many times. Preparing for this, I think I can freehand a fair amount, but we're going to definitely get started on Femme Rouge, which means the red woman, which is from the new cartoon, and get in here with these circles, because those need to be perfect. So anything else, if I have to ad-lib it a little because I got rid of it, it's not the end of the world, but those features I really have to get in right away. So I'm going to get started. Finally bought a ton of gloves. I've been waiting to do that for ages. I also have a new toy that I'm using. Oh, and that one has a hole on it. Okay. My husband made this cool little thing for me. This is now going to help me be able to turn on and off my streams from over here at my desk and set record and not record. So I'm pretty excited about that. Okay. So as usual, I'm using the Kurosumi black outlining ink. Again, I don't really think there's any difference, as a shader or an outliner ink. It is ink. I mean, do with it is how you work with it. So I've never found any difference. I also talk about my cleaning solution because it is the most asked thing of everything. I use this, which is just a spray bottle, which is a diluted of the concentrate of green soap. This here. I suggest it in every one of my videos, and I suggest it in the comments, and people ask me almost every video I do, what do I use to clean it? And that is it. But I won't be using that for a little while here as I'm trying to get in as most of the lines as possible that are important. What else? Got my tattoo machine here. I'm starting with a 7 liner because I just feel like I'm doing a much larger canvas this time, and I really need to get the lines in well first. So I'm gonna try 7. I got my Dragon Hawk, which is the one I've been using. It's a rotary machine, and I love it. What else? I can see my screen from here, so if you do have questions while I'm working, please ask, and I can look up from time to time. Otherwise, let me know if there's any other issues that I'm not aware of while you're watching. I'm going to put back up the informational that this is fake skin. This is for practice and is not to be, considered professional. I can't think of a better explanation of that than that I should not be considered a professional. Okay, set up my my voltage. Sorry, I was about to say my streaming. Not it. Lining, go up a little bit. I'm gonna try and go slower too. I've been getting that from a lot of people online, is that I should go slower when I'm lining. I find that very frustrating because as a traditional artist, I like to go quickly. So forcing myself to slow down has been has been a thing. So I need to try and do that here. I do have some water, but I'm not going to be diluting for a while. It's really just putting down ink. So I'm going to start over here, come down here, go here, gently wipe, and then start going in with the circles as gingerly as possible. And hopefully we'll do this. Again, here's the sketch. I went through on the computer to add in the perfect circles and then the font. So that's where you see that. The other was several sketches over and over and over, scanning in and changing. So, and that's what I used for the stencil, because I just draw on it on transfer paper and put it down. I don't have a thermal machine or anything. Okay, so going slow. Okay, getting there. Okay, the words are tentatively put in. I'm going to gently wipe down just so that I can reduce the amount that I'm going to hit the ink so I won't blot as badly on everything else. So I'm just going to delicately wipe away as much as I can here, just for, you know. Oop, shoot, I just sprayed onto it. Oh crap. Oh no. Okay, I'm gonna have to move quicker than I thought. Just spraying onto my towel here and sprayed onto the actual. That's not good. Okay. Put down on a little of this ink and then we'll go right away because this is going to start dissolving quickly. Okay. Here. All right. I'm actually going to change my stance here to get this. Try not to turn as much as possible. With it being wet, I kind of screwed myself a little bit. Okay. Gotta get the petal out. Okay. Try this. Screw these up. Oh, yeah, this is a disaster. Okay. Okay. So you can see I have screwed up pretty bad here because of my initial overspray of my cleaning product, which just started to blow out everything. So that's cool. I do this, but I can blot up, and I kind of, I mean, I know the design in my head. It's going to be a fair amount of flying by the seat of my pants, for lack of better thoughts here. That was a big mistake. Here, kind of guesstimate the rest. Okay, it's a lot of the big stuff in. What I'm missing now is my plane, my shapes of the earth. I can fake that. The waves of the hair, I can ad-lib that. Oh, trying to pull this out after having messed up is kind of a. Looks like the stream is going well. All right. I'm gonna do the hat now because I think it's the next most important thing. And then I'm thinking I'll try and put in as many more lines as I can see until it just becomes unbearable and I have to put my cleaner down for real and actually be erasing stuff. This is one of those months where you know you're starting to do something in art and you feel like you're doing a really good job and you're really getting it, and then you do it again and nothing's working the way it should. And you're like, wow, I did not know as much as I thought I knew. That's this tattoo for sure. Mm. Okay, well, it's not great, but I can't really see anything else in my design, so I'm gonna have to erase and ad lib everything else, which is not what I anticipated. Amazingly, I can see a fair amount of my lines still. Probably because I put the stencil on yesterday. And as I've talked about, ink really takes to fake skin when it's just laid on top. So that's something. I will be able to ad-lib some of this here. Let's see. Yes, Jeff is totally right. It is green soap. Um, it is just, I don't know, 1 to 10. You know, you don't need very much of this green soap in here at all. And it can go a long ways for a long time. So just trying to recoup here because I accidentally oversprayed my cleaner onto my fake skin and all my lines started to blow out. So yeah, I can still see some of my original lines from my stencil. Sorry, just forgetting all my words today. From my stencil still down because I put my stencil on yesterday on my fake skin. It started to absorb into it. I've talked about how silicone takes that on and that's totally what it did do. So some of these lines I can still see, thankfully, even though I totally messed up. And if it were real skin, that would not at all be feasible. So. My machine. Stop it. Okay. Okay. I'm definitely going to need to go over some of these lines again. I was pretty shaky on the hat because I was nervous about getting in. I'm not sure what kind of shading I'm going to do yet. I hadn't quite decided before I started. Since I want it to be, it's not real life, so I'm not thinking fully realistic shading is necessary, but something to darken the hair and the hat, make them stand out as they're supposed to be red. Okay. I think I'm scooting it out of frame for it. There we go. Yeah, okay. What kind of skins I use? Yeah, this is just the super cheap Chinese ones. I know that they're Chinese because I know that I can buy them on eBay and Amazon. This lot is slightly larger than my usual, so this is a skin that's quite large. 8 by 12 is what it says. But I generally use these smaller ones, which I think are about 4 by 6. Sure. These guys. Made in China. Tattoo practice skins. Super cheap, but they work well enough for me. But you can see here the difference. This is what I usually tattoo on, and this one is considerably larger. I just wanted to work bigger. Hadn't for a while. I know my last set of the 4 by 6s I got on eBay, I believe. Yeah, eBay. And it was 30 of them for, I don't know, 25 bucks free shipping. So, I think that's a pretty good price, honestly. When I first was buying, I was buying on Amazon, and they were a fair amount more expensive per piece. And it was the exact same thing, honestly. So I just getting my glove back on here. Oh, gloves. Okay. So yeah, I honestly don't think you need to go super expensive fake skins. But again, I am not a pro. Are we in frame? And again, I'm using a 7 liner at the moment, my rotary machine. Much better and darker. Going slower does help. It's just something I gotta get over. So used to going fast. You know, do a quick line, you'll get a better curve, and all these kinds of things when you're drawing with pencil doesn't translate as well because then you get sketchy lines. Okay. So for having lost my stencil midway, I'm not doing too bad, but it's going to need a lot of work here. I think I'm going to focus on the circle out here and these circles. I've got monuments here in my stencil. We've got, you know, London and Paris and New York and Japan and I think it's Brazil where the big Jesus thing is. So those need to get in here better. I was going to make up something for these other two just quickly since you don't really see them. They're just barely there. And then, yes, blacken in our plane here be the next thing. And I need to decide if I'm going to do full black on these letters or if I'm going to do any kind of half shading. I hadn't decided yet, so I'll hold off there and probably then start shading her in to some degree, but I'll probably need to break for lunch at some point and come back to that. Too many chords today. Okay, let's see if that. You guys tattoo? Does it ever happen to you? You have your foot on the pedal, and then suddenly you just suddenly aren't pushing on the pedal anymore. It's like your brain lifts up your foot for no reason at all. Can't figure out why I do that. But it greatly sucks. Yeah, I greatly wanted to give myself a challenge this month. I definitely did. I've never had so many circles and lines that need to be exact in any of my designs so far. It is infuriating. Maybe I need to specialize in not doing those. Use more flowy ones. A little more forgiving. Oh, you don't use a pedal. How do you run your machine? I've recently read about these machines that run on rechargeable battery that hooks up to the back of your machine. That was greatly interesting, but pretty expensive for my purposes. Um, yeah, no pedal. How you just have a on off, I guess, and let it run? Didn't even know that was possible. I think I'll be able to pull this one out in the end. It's going to be a bit more work and fixing, which if this was a real person, they would really not like that. Be killing them, I think. Don't have that luxury of a person. Let's see, we've been streaming just about an hour. Okay, not bad. Getting all this down in an hour. Let's see. I'm gonna keep solidifying the blacks, and then I'm gonna break for lunch and come back in the afternoon, I think. Sometimes I just need some fresh eyes to look at this instead of powering through, which at the stage I'm at, I think does more harm than good. You can see there's a lot of wiping down. And it's worth it, especially if you're going to walk away for a little bit, because it will start taking on the ink into the pores of the fake skin. So you really want to make sure you clean it well if you're going to walk away even just for a half hour. I don't have it on my desk right now, but something I've figured out, especially for these fake skins, is that if you get a smudge like over here or whatever when you're cleaning and it's stuck, like you cannot get it out for anything, use some ink away, which is what it's literally called, ink away, and a little bit of water, or put it down, rub a little, put a little water on it, put a little of the cleaning solution. It will come up pretty well, at least well enough. Let's see, there's really taking on this ink here. Wish it wouldn't. Keep trying to clean it, but I think I'm just gonna have to leave it. I might end up doing some darkening there anyway, so hopefully it's not gonna be a big deal for me. But for an hour's work, I think it's not terrible. At this point, if it were a person, I'd tell them to probably come back another day and do the fix up and the cleaning, but we'll do that. At least the finishing of the cleaning of the line work later today. And then if I get any shading in, then great. Otherwise, I have until the end of the month to finish this. So I think with that, I'm going to take off these gloves and say goodbye for now. Use my fancy little keypad here to sign off, if I can do it right. Bye, guys. Thanks for hanging out.